Welcome, folks, back to another episode of Dominant Mets Nation, our Hot Stove Series, episode 2. So, we're going to have more videos more frequently, so you're going to stay tuned, like, and subscribe, and have the notification set. Today's video is this is the type of video that we need to see because this is what's going to make our team go to that next level. What our team is lacking, by far, bar none, compared to teams like the Dodgers, even teams like the Yankees, other teams that could be perceived as better than us, have better pitching. So today we're going to talk about the Mets acquiring a potential ace. We'll look into that, and then at the end, we're going to look at what a trade package could possibly look like, what the Mets would need to do to get this done, and also, you make this move, what do you have to do next? Because if you're going to make a move like this, it makes sense for this next move to happen as well. So we're going to go over that as well. All right, folks, we are talking about the man, Luis Castillo, coming to Queens. Luis Castillo he's been a personification of consistency. Very nasty stuff the last 6-7 years, pitching with the Reds, then traded to the Mariners. Extremely consistent. He's been a number one and number two his entire career. But as of late, the Mariners, they have been bringing up some pitching. Now could be pushed to a number 3-4 spot in their rotation. The Mariners, they are very limited by budget. What they need to do is improve on their offense since they already have a few pitchers, which makes a guy like Luis Castillo expendable. All right, folks, let us get into those specific facts right now. All right, so the latest report from Ken Rosenthal speaks about the Mariners' thought process on Luis Castillo. The Seattle Mariners currently are receiving calls. They are fielding calls, I'll put it that way, on Luis Castillo. They're getting calls on the veteran right-hander, and they're at least listening to those calls. Ken Rosenthal puts it like this. And he says the Mariners will only move on Castillo if they're able to improve the current roster. So what they are looking for is, if they do take prospect, they are looking for prospects that are ready to hit the major leagues. That's bottom line what they are looking for. They are not looking for players 2 or 3 years away. They feel that right now with their current roster, they can compete. So that is extremely very important to take note of. As of this moment, we speak, 12/15, December 15 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We have the Chicago Cubs, we have the Boston Red Sox, we have the Baltimore Orioles, and we have none other than our New York Mets thus far that have contacted the Seattle Mariners. And as a Mets fan, this is what we need to see. Apparently, from doing my research, we did participate in the Garrett Crochet sweepstakes. And although we didn't win, we did put packages on the table. We didn't have a package that was superior to Boston, so you know what? We move along. But what I like to hear is that we were involved and we were going after elite pitching. Another elite pitcher seems to be available, and this one actually seems to be more within our range. And then you got teams like the Boston Red Sox. Boston Red Sox have been on a lot of different players. Obviously, they just traded for Crochet. They are making moves to better themselves. The Chicago Cubs are also in the business, just receiving Kyle Tucker. They are, in the mix, swinging for the fences right now. I got to say, the Cubs, they are wheeling and dealing as well. And Baltimore Orioles, they got that is the team that I'm like, damn, they have very good prospects. So hopefully the Mets have exactly what the Mariners are looking for, and we're going to speak about that very soon. Castillo just turned 32 and is coming off 2024 season in which he pitched to a 3.64 ERA, 3.91 FIP in 175 innings. And folks, that is what I like to hear. 175 innings. We have, and I don't want to insult our pitchers. I love Clay Holmes. I think he's got potential. Montas, you could pencil him in for 150. But Sango was injured the whole last year. Peterson, he's done it for 3 months. McGill, a question mark. Blackburn, a question mark. We need a legit guy at the top of the rotation that you could pencil in for close to 200 innings. Castillo is extremely important with his expertise, with his experience. He's a 3-time All-Star. He's got $72 million left on his contract through age 27, and he does have an option, that investing option, for $25 million for 2028 season. But these are all reasonable numbers for, let's just say you pencil him in, and worst case scenario, he's a number 3. A number 2 or number 3, that's not bad. $23-24 million a year, especially this day and age. All right. So very, very important for the New York Mets to be involved. And, let's dig down deeper. I want to look at some statistics that stand out about Luis Castillo. But first, I just want to focus on one point first. What I do like is that all these rumors about Luis Castillo being connected to the Mets going after Garrett Crochet, it really shows me where their priorities are right now. They know that after getting Juan Soto, the most important thing right now is to be securing frontline starting pitching. So this is what I really like to see. Okay, so more information on Castillo. So after Max Fried signed, that really elevated the value of Castillo, in my opinion, and according to baseball experts. That also, I think, really urged the Mariners to say, hey, let's see what we can get. Let's see if we can improve our overall team. Let's see what's out there. So, and Fried, if you really think about it, 8 years, $218 million. He's almost the same age as Luis Castillo. Put that in perspective, folks. They're about within a couple months old of each other, and Fried signed 8 years, $218 million, and you got Castillo for about 3 years, $68 million, and we just spoke about that vesting option for the 4th year, which isn't a guarantee. It basically kicks in if he has a solid 3rd year, which wouldn't be that bad. There's only a couple things that kind of complicate things. Castillo does have a no-trade clause, folks. I repeat, Castillo does have a no-trade clause that allows him to dictate which team he will play for. And, of course, if he gets traded at all. A deal at this point right now, to be honest, is not imminent. The level of activity this offseason and the Mariners' interest in making significant changes to their roster opens the door for Castillo being traded this offseason. Here's my opinion, folks. Of course, a Castillo no-trade clause puts the decision in his court, right? At the end of the day, he has the final say. But for the Mariners' perspective, it makes all the sense in the world to trade Castillo right now. In this market, pitching is very, very desired, especially a guy like Castillo. There is high risk to not trading Castillo now. High risk. The Mariners already have a slew of other pitchers, right? So it's not like they don't have pitching. They have pitching. Castillo gets older, that makes his value go down. Castillo could have a bad year, that makes his value go down. Castillo gets hurt because he is older, that makes his value go down. So there are all these factors that are pulling the Mariners to say pull the trigger. And also right now, there are a slew of offensive options that the Mariners could say, hey, $25 million, you pay most of that. And which team could pay most of that? A team like the Mets. So that would free up money, free up capital for the Mariners to pursue some offensive weapons, and that is what they need. All right. So let's dig down into some of the Luis Castillo numbers. Okay, so let's check out baseball reference first, just like we did last night with Alex Bregman. Let's look at some things that could really benefit the Mets. All right, so we see career wise, in 8 years, you have a guy who has a career 3.56 ERA. Not bad in this day and age. Not bad in this day and age. Strikeouts per nine. He's been pretty consistent throughout the course of his career, averaging about 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. Very consistent. He's got a whip of about 1.17. Not horrendous. And as of late, it's actually been better besides this last year. Last year, it was 1.16, actually 1.17. That was in line with his career average. But before 2024, his whip was 1.09, 1.10, 1.07, 1.08. So up until 2021, it was actually a bit better than that. Other things that really stand out, and this is what I really like to see. Okay, so let's take out his rookie year in 2017 because he only had 15 starts. But let's look at every single year after that. And Luis Castillo could be classified as a modern day workhorse. We don't have, the opportunity for many guys to throw over 200 innings and 30 starts. You don't see it too much. But in 2018, you have him 31 starts, 170 innings. That was 2018. 31 starts, 170 innings. 2019, 32 starts, 190 innings. 2020 is the COVID shorted season. 2021, 33 starts, 190 innings. 2022, he pitched with two teams, 2.99 ERA, did phenomenal. 25 starts, 150 innings. That was his least. That was his least. Frankie Montas, that's what he did last year, and everybody's like, oh, 150 innings. That was the least in Castillo's career since he was a rookie. Then in 2023, again, 33 games, 197 innings, and 2024, 30 games, 175 innings. You could pencil this guy every year for 30 games at least and about 180 innings, 170, 180 innings. This, not only is he a guy with ace potential, but he's a guy that is actually going to be counted on to throw a very good number of innings. I mean, you know that, folks? That is nothing to sneeze at. Nothing to sneeze at, and that really stood out to me. Also, he's a guy who's got pretty decent control, pretty decent swing and miss stuff. We'll look at that with Baseball Savant. Some things have changed throughout the years, and some things have changed in his last year. And maybe this is why the Mariners might be saying, hey, it's a good time to get rid of him. So I want to look at that as well. And let's take a look at that right now. But again, to summarize, the guy is a workhorse. The guy is very reliable as of now. He's a good strikeout pitcher. And he's a guy that you can pencil in for about 30 games, 170 innings, and count on him every single year. All right, folks, so let's look at some more in-depth stats. His Baseball Savant, this is from last year, and we'll look at some things that are great. When you see this dark red, again, that is great. That is great. Anything over the 50th percentile means that he's better than league average. So in pitching run value, 86th percentile, great. Fastball run value, 93rd percentile, great. Breaking run value, 82nd percentile, great. Not great with off speed, not great. So then if you break it down even further, what is he great in? Fastball velocity, he's in a 76th percentile. He throws about 96 miles per hour. Last year, he looked very crisp, his fastball, very crisp. His chase rate, 76th percentile. His base on ball rate, 73rd percentile. So those things could be considered pretty good. And that's important too. Walk rate, that is very, very important for a guy to have control. Now, if you compare him to years past, expected ERA was actually worse, 3.91, 53rd percentile. Expected batting average, 41st percentile, exit velocity. So there are some things here that you would be like, okay, are those indications that maybe Luis Castillo is aging, getting older, or was it just a product of a couple bad games? When you go back to 2023, you could see there were those categories that were even more elite. Expected ERA, it was actually more towards over the middle of the pack, 63rd percentile, batting average, expected batting average, 68th percentile. But then these other categories right here, you see that he was better last year. It took a dip. Even pitching run value, 94th percentile, 100th percentile. These are all things that kind of went down last year. It went down. So is that a forecast that he is trending downward? Well, let's look at 2022. 2022, again, we see expected ERA was in a better position, expected batting average, better position. And this is important, folks. Fastball, it went from 97 miles per hour to 95.6 miles per hour in 2024. So he's lost some velocity from the last couple years. But, a guy, and also another thing that I'm noticing right here, his ground ball percentage a couple years ago, he was in the 73rd percentile. In 2024, 43rd percentile. So, what could be contributed to that? Sinker, I'm looking at in 2024, he uses his sinker 18%, his four seam 45%. Was it something with his sinker? Look, folks, right then and there. I'm just looking at this right now and trying to figure it out. He used his sinker more in 2022. So that might be something that David Stearns could say, hey, Luis Castillo, we're building an elite defense behind you with Francisco Lindor. You're going to want to get more ground balls. You might want to rely more on your sinker. These are things that, a guy like Luis Castillo who has elite stuff, just based on the team, based on the defense, based on the situation, might be better and more successful on a team like the Mets and using certain pitches because of the weapons behind them. But this is just a quick deep dive into what the Mets could potentially be looking for. All right, folks. If you hadn't got a chance to like, and if you're new, if you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, but definitely hit the like button. Helps out the channel. And also now we have channel memberships, and I'm going to be tweaking that around too. So, but if you'd like to sign up for one of our existing memberships, give it a shot, give it a try. Okay, so I like what I hear right now. I like the Mets have to be aggressive, and that's what our video, a couple of videos down, said. But at the end of the day, I do have faith in David Stearns. I do. I really do. Has he made that signature move yet? No. Has he shown us that he's willing to get out of that Brewers mentality? Not quite yet, because I'll tell you this, the Juan Soto $800 billion spending spree, I attribute all that to Mr. Steve Cohen. If Steve Cohen wasn't at the helm, do I think David Stearns would have said, pedal to the metal, we got to go after him? No, I don't think so. It's not in his history. All right, so what is going to be that signature move? So a guy like Luis Castillo could have a great impact on the New York Mets. I like that they were in on Garrett Crochet. I like that they were in on Mr. Luis Castillo. Now, they weren't in on Devin Williams. Why could that have been? Why could that have been? My initial reaction to not being on Devin Williams was not good, not good. I really wanted a guy like Devin Williams. But here's the deal. Talking about trade packages, the Mariners want somebody who is MLB ready, right? MLB ready. Who is more MLB ready than Brett Baty? Brett Baty. And that was a guy who was being rumored or bandied about for a Devin Williams trade. So, if the Mets were to use one of their chips like Brett Baty, what would make more sense? Getting Devin Williams, who's a relief pitcher, for possibly 1 year. 1 year. He's a free agent, folks, at the end of this year. That has to be put into the equation. Or using that trade chip, Brett Baty, to potentially get a frontline starter who is a workhorse for 3 years. 3 years. Now, I'm not saying Brett Baty would, seal the deal, get it done. But what I am saying is you could build a package around Brett Baty. So, also other guys you can include. I mean, not that I really want to, but if, let's say, a Brett Baty, Ronnie Mauricio gets it done, those are guys close to the MOB. Or if you put a package around Brett Beatty, and then, Brett Beatty, a Marco Vargas, a Brett Beatty, a Jesus Baez, and then maybe a lower tier pitcher. What I'm saying is you could build a package around Brett Beatty. Now, something else that's very important, very, very significant, depends how much the New York Mets eat back. Because what the Mariners want is to free up some of their money. That makes it worthwhile for them to trade Luis Castillo, right? They don't have to trade Luis Castillo. He's a guy who's making a pretty decent amount. I mean, not a lot compared to other starting pitchers. Plus, they have him locked up for the next couple of years. But like I said, there's risk to keeping him, and they could take advantage of his value now. Plus, if a team like the Mets chooses to eat a good part of their salary, that means the return value won't have to be as high. That means the Mets may be able to get away with a Brett Beatty plus package. All right, folks. So they have to build a package around Brett Beatty, and that is why at the end of the day, after the Devin Williams missed trade opportunity, I'm like, okay, big picture, big picture, big picture. All right, now let's say we get a Luis Castillo. Let's say we get a Luis Castillo. We are not anywhere close to being done, folks. Not even close. The starting pitching rotation needs a lot of help. A lot of help. You have to make a next move and be ultra aggressive in getting another guy. What other guys or aces are out there, right? What other guys, other aces? You got opportunities. You got Framber Valdez. We're gonna evaluate this in the future. Dylan Cease. You got to value. That's a guy. Dylan Cease, Luis Castillo. Now, your rotation looks a whole lot better. Then possibly you still in the Sasaki sweepstakes. Then we are talking about approaching a team like the Dodgers. But you have to couple these moves. You see the Red Sox right now. They're not sitting back saying, oh, we got Garrett Crochet. We're good now. We're good. The Yankees, they're not like, we got Garrett Cole. Calls, we're done. We're good. No, these teams know, experienced teams know it's about pitching. Dodgers, we got Ohtani. We got Yamamoto. We got Glass now. We're good. No, you got to get Snell. They're going to be in on Sasaki. It is about getting as deep of a rotation as possible throughout the course of the year. You could be like, I got a 5 to go in. I got a starting 5. No, these days you need a starting 8, a starting 9. You need 8 or 9 guys who have the potential to be a starter throughout the course of the year. Sanka, you don't think he's going to have issues? He pitched 5 innings last year. And then other guys in a rotation are shaky, are injury prone. So that is why you need a deep rotation. That is why you have to couple this move with another move. Sean Manaea still out there. I want the Mets to continue to make moves. Our first 2 moves, Montas and Clay Holmes. I like the Holmes move, but I'm going to say he's going to need a little time to pitch as a starter for me to be able to trust him and to be even able to say if he's going to be consistent. I think he needs to develop another pitcher too. He's a guy with right now a 3-pitch mix. He's been a closer. I think he's a guy that he needs to develop another pitch. No doubt about it. I do like Clay Holmes because he's got 100% ground ball every single year. This guy's the ground ball king. All right, folks. So stay tuned. You're going to want to hear our next episode in our Hot Stove series. It will be more and more options for the New York Mets, but this is today's video. So like and subscribe. I will speak to everybody very, very soon. And thank you so much for all the feedback, the comments. And, even though I don't get a chance to, see some of the comments, respond to some of the comments, I would say 90% of the comments, and I appreciate each and every one of them. The other video, we had like 100 comments. I got to answer every one of them. The one last night, I was working, so not so much, but I do see everything. So thank you so much. And that's why I have the membership right now, because the memberships have priority comments. So those comments, they pop up to the top. So those ones, if you want your comment read first, that's another option as well. Thank you so much, folks. I will speak to you very, very soon. Have a great night, day, whenever you're watching this.